I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our project manager. His name is Michael Robinson.
Good afternoon, good evening. I wish I could meet you all, but here we are on the project. Chester has asked me to do a little walkthrough. What I'm leaning on right here is your fire suppression equipment. This whole thing right here is pretty expensive, and that's what we're using to fight fire, should there ever be one. Pretty deep. This hole was probably 10-12 feet deep about a week ago. Major effort to get this installed, put back together, compacted, recompacted, and it's absolutely necessary for the life safety issues for the building. So that's the first stop. What you're looking at here is it's called dunnage. This is expanded polystyrene foam, and it's used in the walls in the Cortec panels. And we're hanging on to this. Some of it will be trash or recycled, but most of it we keep in order to fill holes, repair holes, do things on the building. And I'll show you some things as we go through the building that when the plaster starts doing this, we'll start cutting some of these pieces. They cut with a hot knife. It's very simple to use, and we put that back into the panels and make these patches. The reason we want to use the same material is that if we use a different material, you have different qualities or characteristics, and you have expansion and contraction, and those patches will show up. So what we're doing is using the same material. They truck this to protect the panels, but it's also very valuable to us in the field. Okay? Stop number 3, what you're seeing here is broken concrete. And part of what we have to do, obviously, is clean this site up. My objective in the last 2 weeks has been to clean the site, get all the underground work done, the trenches, backfilled, cleaned up, ready to go, so that we can soon to be working on the sides of the buildings. Just a little bit more cleanup, and then we're going to start that process. So this is stop number 3. Stop number 4, we're on the northeast corner of the building, and this has been problematic for a number of reasons. We have the Montessori School driveway that comes right by us, and that driveway has a number of people driving on it every day, 100 cars plus, twice a day. And we have this what's called a bio filter that goes in this corner. We've got water coming down the building, we've got roof water coming off. That biofilter is tied into the entire system, but we had to put a retaining wall in here because there's some elevation differences that have created some problems, and so these things become problematic. The retaining wall is there to hold up that road and to kind of complete this whole center section. These guys will be done with it in a few days, probably the first part of next week. They're almost done with it. It's a little minor detail that goes next. But you'll never see this again. It all gets backfilled, and water ends up filling that up, and then that becomes part of a system to drain the water off. Go ahead. What you're looking at, of course, is the street side of the building, the north side basically. And what you see is basically the exposed Cortec panels. And I know you've been looking at those for a long time, and we're trying to get those covered up. Where the funny looking holes and stuff are, of course, are going to be windows. There's more to cut out, clean up. We're going to be doing that process next week. And I'm getting ready to install the windows. The windows have to go in before we finish the stucco and finish the exterior. We are soon going to put up scaffold. That scaffolding will be able to work the entire wall. That will be used to help finish putting in the Cortec panels and installing the windows and getting ready for the plaster to do the finishing, the final, what's called stucco. It's an acrylic stucco. There's a fiberglass mesh that goes on there. It becomes a very durable surface. The lower pieces are done with very, very durable fiberglass, and then we put the color coat on it later down the road. So the other part is you've got that canopy that runs across the front. That's not finished yet, but that'll get done. This is part of the drainage system, and everything drains onto this corner right here. So the entire site, all the roof water, everything on the parking lot comes to this point. And if you can see it right here, that box is shallow right now. There's another piece that goes on top, and it gets raised up, and then this is what we call its pile retention system. And there's more work to be done here, but essentially everything is drained to this point. Again, the effort is to get all these loose ends tied up. There's holes all over the site. I'm trying to get those finished and filled in so that this becomes a nice workable surface for us. Behind us is we're going to transplant that palm tree. There's a couple pieces that need to be moved. Some of them can stay where they're at, but there's a couple here that are problematic, so we're in the process of transplanting those and trying to get this corner put together. We've got another retaining wall that has to go in here, and these things are in the way, so we're trying to finish that part up. This point is there's a sub panel that goes here. We'll show you those in a few minutes inside. There's a concrete pad that has to be poured. We got some work to do on the wall before we can set the panels, because they're going to be on the exterior. And what we're going to end up doing is pouring this concrete, and then those panels will sit out here. Those conduit that you see, those will be full of wire. That's where SDG&E will come into, and then we're going to sub-feed into what's called a main panel room in the building. Outside patio area, one of the things that this is, since I got here, this has been sitting like this. We're getting ready to pour this concrete. We still have some Cortec panels to put up on top. That's been a little problematic, but I think we've got a resolve on that finally. The other thing that's happening, if you look at this right here, this waterproofing system that's here is been exposed for a long time, and what I'm trying to do is get all that cleaned up, put back together, and get it protected, because one is we want to make sure that no water gets into the building. And two is we're working on getting this site ready for sidewalks, for curbs and lights and everything. So we're making a major effort to get this cleaned up. And you can see all this steel that's tied in here. This is a structural slab that helps to support that column in the middle, but we need to get it poured. These are loose ends that we need to get taken care of. So you can see how this waterproofing material, it's basically this fabric that goes up against the wall. There's one layer, and then there's a fabric that goes up against the wall, and allows it to have water penetrating or going down between, so that it gets up into the drainage system. So all of this stuff has to be kind of repaired, put back together, and not a big deal, but it needs to be done because we get a lot of garbage and stuff down there. And, I don't want to cause anyone trouble. All right. We're in the main sanctuary, the mezzanine level, and we're looking at the north wall, which is behind, will be the stage area, the platform area, and behind the pulpit. And what's coming through is ductwork that's going to supply this entire space. You see it right there. There's a couple locations for it. It'll be coming through, and what we're going to do at this point is bring it through the wall, seal it up, cap it off, and leave it until we sort out all the questions that we have. And so you see the Cortec, that of course will all be drywall. All this stuff will be drywall and things going on in here. But the majority of this space will be left unfinished. And for right now, what we'll end up doing is we're just going to leave the panels exposed. And no electrical. There'll be some lights hanging in here, but not anything that's going to be finished. The elevator and the stairs and all that stuff have to be finished out because that's part of the exit system for the area down below. But my plan is I've been trying to get this concrete poured for a week to 2 weeks. I thought we were going to be able to do it a week ago. That didn't work out, so we're working on that right now to get this poured. Once this is poured, a lot of other things can happen. So this has been problematic for quite a while, but I think we've got all the problems resolved on that. So, and then of course we can go up here. We're just talking about the major well. There's a mechanical well, and all the equipment is on top. And I think Chester's shown you pictures or video of all that equipment up there. Pretty substantial grouping of equipment, 6 pieces actually. That is an access door that will go up there. That's going to be concealed at some point. But you know, so guys are moving up and down that. We're getting ready. I got the plumber coming pretty quick. In fact, he's supposed to be here today to install the roof drains. And once he gets that done, then the roofer can get in there and put the roof in. And what we want to do is get that watertight, because it will rain someday here in Southern California. So we want to get that part finished so that all the water's draining off and not to the areas down below, you know, to mess things up. So, and then the other thing that's happening, the windows. I'm in the process of ordering the windows, all the windows and the exterior doors, so that this will be completely sealed up. It will be finished for the exterior. It will be finished. Once the stucco's on it for the exterior, this building will be finished. Interior, it's going to be looking like this, but you'll have the windows, you'll have the exterior doors, the storefront doors, and that kind of thing. And what I'm working at is trying to get this entire space enclosed and sealed up, so that you know, that's where we're trying to get to. So that's that part of it. One of the next steps, once we get this concrete poured, is this is your elevator right here, and we want to install that elevator shaft. And so there's metal studs and metal framing that will happen. That will be here, and it'll go pretty much up to the roof structure. It's pretty close. And then around this stairwell right here, this is a firewall. This is an exit that's coming from the downstairs to the upstairs. So it's because of the depth of the building against the retaining wall. So this stairs will go in. This will be an enclosed stairwell, and it will drywall on both sides of the wall. We'll enclose the elevator shaft on both sides, and then ultimately what we do, there will be a temporary wall that comes across here, from about here over to the end of the windows in the storefront, the entry doors. So you would be able to come in the entry doors, you would be able to go right and go down the stairs and into the lower area. There will be a set of doors up here that are temporary doors, and that's so down the line, we still haven't worked all that out, but down the line, we can finish this space up here. And again, that's the phasing thing we've been talking about. You know, we'll see where that goes. So some of these things are going to be partially done, some will be, you know, down the road, that kind of thing. All right. This is an exit door off the sanctuary required by the codes. And what will happen is this will be a concrete platform that comes out, steps come down this way. There's a sidewalk that runs along the side of the building that goes around towards the front area. You can see the rebar sticking out of this curb, and that rebar, it'll have concrete block on it, so it raises the elevation up. And what we're looking to do is this will be backfilled. This will be a sidewalk, essentially some steps and sidewalk. And then on top of that, there's a railing that comes in here, a steel railing, a safety rail that will be coming across here and goes around the corner. And here we are. We've gone all the way around the building. Still trying to maintain access for the Montessori school without insulting them or hurting them. Yeah, that's working okay. So we're back inside. They met John?
Of course they met John. How you doing, John?
Protect the innocent.
John Costello, he's a project superintendent, and he was employed by ATM prior. And we decided to keep him on board for, I'm not sure why, but we did.
Because he's Filipino.
Continuity.
Yeah, he's a young Filipino kid. This is your ductwork. All of this is going up. You can see the guys doing the install up here. This equipment, all of that will get painted out in time. But the idea is that's what's coming off those the equipment on the roof. And each one has a supply air and a return air. So there's 2 ducts for every unit. And then that gets distributed throughout the building. So that's critical. We try to put that in first before anything, because obviously they're big, they're heavy, they don't bend and move around a whole lot. And so once that goes in, then the rest of it, the electrical, the plumbing, fire suppression system usually comes in. We're out of sequence a little bit down below. I'm not sure why that happened, but we're cleaning that up. These pieces are your main electrical panels. From outside, all your power comes in, will come into the building. These are mounted in the building. These have basically all the circuit breakers and all the switching and everything that goes on. Pretty intricate, pretty sophisticated equipment. But this will run the entire plant once it's finished. So we've got several panels like this. Chester can walk around and show you the other ones, but these will be installed soon.
Rico.
Rico. This is Rico. He's your
AC?
foreman, right?
Foreman.
Foreman for the mechanical systems. He's running the show here. The other guys, this is the guy that runs the show, so he's taking care of business down here.
We take care.
He's serving us well.
Thank you, guys.
We're in the hallway down in the classroom area, and so what this is all about. Obviously, we got temporary lights in here. Probably don't have enough light, but this is your entire metal stud system. These are the metal studs. These are the structural columns. But this would be a classroom. This is going to be one of your classrooms. And one of the things we're working on is trying to get the ceiling as high as we can. That's always my push. For these good-sized rooms, we don't want a low ceiling here, so we're trying to get as high as we can get. That said, that's a little. It takes a lot of cooperation between the trades to make sure that we can get up there and get everything in and satisfy the show. The other thing we've got to do is once everything's done, we'll be hanging drywall soon in here, and then we're going to be putting in what's called the suspended ceiling, or often called the T-bar ceiling, and that's a grid system, and the ceiling tiles sit down on top of that, and all of this stuff it'll all disappear. It's all going to be nice and pretty when it's all said and done. This area, this is the elevator opening on the lower floor. This is the elevator shaft right here, and ultimately there'll be a push button, and this would be the door for the elevator. There's a temporary floor in it right now because there's a pit underneath it that's 4 feet deep for the hydraulic equipment and all the operational equipment. The room in the back is for all the electrical and mechanical that run the elevator. That's called the mechanical room in the back, so that works out. This area here, this will be an exit corridor through here. We come back this way. And starting here, there's a set of stairs that stairs go up, hit a platform up there, and then continue on up to the second floor above, where we showed you where the stairs were up above. So we're on the lower floor right now. We're in the very back of the building. There's storage rooms back here, and mechanical rooms. But this you can see electrical conduit. You can see electrical boxes, that sort of thing going in. Ultimately, this gets covered in drywall, and this will just look like a regular wall once it's all said and done. We will insulate for noise, and we'll put the 5/8 type X drywall on everything, and then we have the T-bar ceiling that goes in. So it's a good system to work with. It's pretty standard stuff. That's it. Now Chester's running the camera. I'm standing in front of you. This is the kitchen. You can see where electrical is. Plumbing hasn't been run yet, but that's coming. We're in the kitchen area. That's a serving counter over here. This being a serving counter, there's a door that goes in here. Your patio is out there. It looks like we're missing some doors and windows on that Cortec wall out there. We've just gone through, and we'll cut those in a little bit later. There's mechanical equipment in here. There's exhaust systems. There's N-cell fire suppression system to keep things from getting out of control. And all this gets installed, insulated, all the plumbing and everything in there, and then the drywall goes in. And then at some point in time, all of the kitchen equipment comes in. That'll be a separate install. All your stainless steel countertops, the cooktops, the cabinets, all that stuff. I do expect to be it by the day. That's it. You ready? You good? Okay, this is Roberto Domingo. Roberto Domingo is a civil engineer. He does structural and mechanical, not mechanical, but structural and civil. I brought him on board to help us resolve some of the problems that we have here on site. He's a local. He's a local boy. He's a Filipino, and he and I have worked together for 25, 30 years. So that said, I'm going to let him speak.
Mga kababayan, ang pangalan ko ay Bert, for short. Mukhang maganda itong simbahan ninyo na pag matapos na. Kaya magandang hapon o kaya hopefully na nawawala na ako ng Tagalog eh. Kaya, pero maganda itong hopefully na matatapos ng soon. Para makapasok na kayo rito sa mag-pray.
Okay, thank you
Okay,
very much.
nice talking to you guys. Okay, take care.
Thank you, Bert. So we're going to wrap it up right now. And what obviously the transition has been somewhat difficult for all of us, but I think we're starting to see some good progress. We'll see a lot more in the next couple of weeks. We're pushing hard to get the thing done for you so you can get occupied. What can I say other than this is you're going to be in here soon. So talk to you.
Thank you.
That's it.